you very much for joining us. I wish we had new topics to talk about, but every time it comes back to Bangalore, infrastructure, the traffic, and so on and so forth. This was the garden city, the retirees' paradise. Obviously, it's grown phenomenally in the last 20, 30 years, but the fallout of that also we are seeing every day. The point is, where did the story go wrong, and how can we fix it?
Zaka, we must first understand what Bangalore is. Bangalore is the richest city in India with a per capita income of $11,000. India's per capita income is $2,300. Bangalore has 23 lakh people working in technology, much more than Silicon Valley. It has 35,000 IT companies. 2.5 lakh to 3 lakh techies get jobs in Bangalore every year. Bangalore possibly pays the second or third highest quantum of income tax in this country. Third highest quantum of banking deposits. Fourth highest quantum of bank lending. It will have an export of something like $80 billion this year, possibly, in software services. 15,000 startups, 45 plus, unicorns. So it is an extraordinary city with 100,000 PhDs sitting here. It's a science capital, technology capital, biotech capital, aerospace capital, electronic capital, electrical capital. You name it, it is here. This is the future of this country. Now, what is wrong with Bangalore? What is wrong with Bangalore is the management capacity of Bangalore has not kept pace with the wealth of Bangalore. We have 1 crore vehicles in Bangalore, 65 lakhs two-wheelers, 25 lakh four-wheelers, and the balance. Our roads are not developed. Our metro is mismanaged, is 3 years behind schedule. Delhi has got 410 kilometers of metro. We got some 52 or 55. Is going to go to 75 or 80, 3 or 4 years behind schedule. There is mismanagement of the city. We have a city corporation which is bankrupt because they're not able to collect taxes, where we had 200 ward councillors, out of which 108 were real estate brokers, and they're very corrupt. Each one has taken that ward and said, it's my domain, so whatever happens, I have to get money. We have MLAs, many of them who try to extort money, and the government is helpless. And we wanted a mayor for Bangalore, and the government will never have a mayor, because if you have a mayor for Bangalore, the mayor will become the most powerful person here. We are maybe 55-60% of Karnataka GDP, 55-60% of Karnataka taxes. All politicians from all over Karnataka come and stay here. We heard DK.
Yeah.
I mean, DK is an extraordinary individual. I mean, his story is an extraordinary story. But you must see what he has done in the last 25 years. Very good thing in his constituency, but you must see his net worth is very interesting. So everybody becomes rich in this place. And what do we get? Nothing. Because you know why? Ravi will tell you, out of 226 seats, we got 28, Ravi. We are 16% of the population. There has been no delimitation for many areas. So politicians don't care about Bangalore. Now, we spoke about 7,200 crores being spent on potholes in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I remember going to Dharam Singh, who was CM, and complaining to my potholes. You know what he told me? He told us, Yenappa, nan uralli road illa. Illa road adru ide, pothole ide. I mean, what do you do with this? It's badly managed. But the hope is, just now we had an extraordinary officer called Dr. Salim, who was the DGP with the police. He's improved Bangalore traffic by 20% in just 1 month.
Yeah.
And we have, the Tushar Giri Singh as a commissioner. He is, Girinath as commissioner. He has improved Bangalore's roads. Some of the old projects have been done. Bangalore is badly managed. We need improvement in governance. And we have extraordinary people like him who have written reports about governance for Bangalore, given suggestions for the last 20 years, which has been accepted by the government, but not implemented.
So, Mr. Pai talked about, how it is a startup capital, IT capital. It also is the pothole capital and the garbage capital and so on. I think potholes is really an issue that hits home because nobody should have to die because of bad infrastructure. I mean, technically, if this were to happen, let's say in one of the Nordic countries, you could sue the state. So as per NCRB data, Bangalore has the highest number of road accidents of any city in the country, 3,200, in which 654 people died. This is in the year 2021-22.
That's true.
Can't this be fixed? I mean, is it such a hard thing to fix a pothole in a road?
It is. It is. So what the stats that Mohan mentioned is true about Bangalore. The negative stats that you mentioned about Bangalore is also true. So we coexist between both these worlds. Now, if you want to get to why it's so difficult to fix, I mean, very quickly, there's a constitutional defect that we have got from birth. You know, when it was set up, the center and state were very clearly defined in terms of roles and responsibilities. But when it came to the third tier, because Mohan wanted the mayor, they unfortunately just used the word local bodies. As a result, we became vassals of the state government. And as Mohan mentioned, there is no interest in the state government to let go of the golden goose that Bangalore and other cities like this represent. This is a countrywide problem.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, I mean, why is this not so relevant in Chennai or in Mumbai?
It is. So what I'm saying is a generic problem that cuts across. Where it's more acute in Bangalore, if you take 2001 to 2011, that census, that decadal thing,
period,
Bangalore grew by 48% in that decade. It is the highest growth rate for any city of that population anywhere in the world. So when you have that kind of huge growth, without having the matching political or administrative systems, it would have challenged the best and the brightest of leadership in the world.
Okay.
And in the absence of that, you have a makings of a disaster. The second thing really is, when you come down to anything that we need in this place requires multiple agencies to play ball. You know, your network 18, it's everything I can relate it to the network effect. When we come to traffic and mobility, everything is network related. So anything you touch, on an average, there are 8 to 10 agencies involved. Now, unless you have a mechanism to knock those heads together to get an outcome, nothing about our governance system is outcome-oriented. We will hear thousands of crores, projects. So coming specifically to your pothole question, potholes develop in the first place because of poor engineering, very poor implementation of the road, lack of drains, corruption. All these play a role in the pothole developing. Today's puddle is tomorrow's pothole.
Yeah.
And in the filling of the pothole, it's tragic, but we are quite insensitive to what human lives matter. So the statistic you mentioned, in a sense, reflects extremely poorly on the kind of immunity that we have developed through these kind of stats.
Towards human life, actually.
Yeah.
You have said, Mr. Pai, that one of the solutions is to devolve Bangalore into not one but 5 municipal corporations and have 5 full-time mayors. But like you said, Bangalore has not had one full-time mayor for the last 3 years. Tell me, why would any political party not come up with such a plan? I mean, the politicians turn around and say, you know, when the last BBMP elections happened, the voting percentage in Bangalore was less than 50%. Less than half the population voted. So then why should they care?
You know, why should they care is because we are the city which gives you taxes to develop Karnataka. And we give taxes to the country. The union government is also very insensitive. We have gone to prime ministers in the last 25 years, asked for help. We got little bit, but you know, they want to do something but doesn't work. We've gone to all the chief ministers. Everybody has said yes to us. The tragedy of Karnataka is politicians are very good. You go to them, say yes to you, it doesn't happen. You go to bureaucrats, they say yes, it doesn't happen. And you know, we get tired doing that. Now, why do we need 5? Because if you have one mayor, it becomes too powerful, so have 5. And Bangalore is too big to be managed by one person, one mayor. Bangalore is about 16% of Karnataka's population, 60%. Look at the city of London, 24 boroughs, right? One mayor, 32 boroughs. Each borough handles a local area. So we suggested, in fact, he is the author of the report along with others, that 5 corporations, the old Bangalore, 100, and then the surrounding Bangalore, and you give them independence so that people are close to government, and then people, our citizens can go and talk to our representatives and get things done. Today, you think the commissioner of Bangalore city has been able to go all around Bangalore? I remember a minister for Bangalore, we told him about the outer ring road where all the logos, the best technology logos in the world are there. Any city will be proud, any country will be proud of that. We told him, come and look at the traffic on the road. He went there, he didn't even know they existed because they'd never been there. And there's an extraordinary place. I have not seen any city in the world with those logos in the 2 or 3, in the 5-6 kilometers of road.
Right. But by the way, that same part of town was underwater.
There was flooding. Part of it was flooding. Look, it's not that Bangalore got flooded.
Sure.
1 kilometer, 1 square kilometer, okay? It got, everybody says, whole of Bangalore is flooded. We didn't go on boats. I mean, Chandra is here. She went as usual to her office. So, I mean, we have a problem. We have a governance problem. Okay. We have to solve the governance problem. Government has got to be serious. The tragedy of India is we are not living in Gandhi's India. We're not living in villages. You know, please remember, the delimitation of seats to the Lok Sabha has been fixed on the basis of 1971 population.
Yeah.
It has to be fixed based on the 2021 census by 2024 or something, where maybe Uttar Pradesh will get 143 seats. That's going to be a big fight. And possibly urban areas will get more money. We don't have enough representation from urban areas, even though we pay taxes. And I think everybody is coming here.
You want to add?
I just want to quickly add, because I'm the author of that report, spent 4 years, self-described patron saint of lost causes. All these reports gathered dust. The key thing really here is you need to realize that you need deep decentralization at the local, street and ward level, and you need appropriate centralization. That mixture is what is required. So the Mohan suggestion, the appropriate centralization is integration across the various agencies. The deep decentralization is for individual citizens to have a connect with the local. That's the essence of the idea. But the moment you suggest 5 corporations, the system turns back and says, oh, you're splitting Bangalore. Nobody is splitting Bangalore, because BBMP, you can take a poll, I don't think it is more than 40% of a person's life. Water outside BBMP, energy outside BBMP, transport outside BBMP, traffic, law and order outside BBMP. So it is a collective thing that needs to work. And therefore this and as Mohan said, this city is too big to be ruled by one. In fact, I don't think there's been a commissioner of BBMP who has been able to visit more than 25% of their geography in that tenure.
Okay. You know, you talked about traffic, and I want to point this out for everyone here. I don't know how far and how much time it took all of you to reach this venue, but the TomTom Traffic Index of 2019 declared Bengaluru as the worst city in the world for traffic. People in Bangalore spent an additional 243 hours, that is 10 days every single year, just in traffic. So out of 365 days, you're actually only spending 355 days productively. The remaining 10 days of your life, you're actually giving up to traffic.
Yeah, we need 500 kilometers of metro. We need 10,000 electric vehicles. We need public transportation. We don't have that. We have told the government that every house in 85% of houses in Bangalore should be within 1 to 1.5 kilometer metro station. We need footpath. We don't have footpath. They're broken. I walk to office every day. It is 2 kilometers. And you know, footpaths are okay because they're renovated. In other parts, there are no footpaths. They're broken. When I was in school, I used to walk 5 kilometers to my school. We were young kids. We used to run on the footpath. We used to go everywhere. It's a lovely city, long back. You see, in a city is a concentration of human activity. Constant human activity creates specialization. Specialization increases productivity, you get higher income. And in a city, mobility is the biggest issue. You have not solved the problem of mobility. Why don't you make it a walking city? Go to London, Paris, San Francisco, New York. Everybody walks 5 kilometers. If you walk, you don't need these vehicles. I mean, you know, we have to create this kind of walking everywhere, re-engineer the city, at least make the footpath. Bangalore is dirty. There is marked stones on the footpath. In front of my house, which is near Vidhan South, the heart of the city, somebody came and dumped some bricks in the road. I mean, everywhere they come and dump bricks in the night. In front of the police van which is standing there. Nobody cares. I mean, the insensitive to the city, why can't you keep the city clean? When the new chief minister came, we went and told him, sir, why don't you spend 1 month cleaning the city so the city will look good? It's a beautiful city. We love this city. But, you know, they can't even get the city cleaned. What do you do with them? We don't know what to do.
So the chief minister talking about the rains of last year and how one part of this IT corridor was affected. One of the things that he said was a lot of the private companies, you know, you take the land on lease, and then whose responsibility is it to build drains? I mean, you take 35,000 square feet or 50,000 square feet, 1 lakh square feet. But ultimately, with all those buildings, if you are not going to provide drains, and then if rain pours like the way it did...
I think that's a mischaracterization totally. Our current drain system is in shambles. In fact, I think flooding is an existential threat for Bangalore. And the earlier everybody realizes and does the right things, there may be no comeback from a future flooding. Therefore, to put it, Mohan is right that there were certain pockets that got affected during that thing in the low-lying areas.
Yeah.
And essentially, we need a vulnerability framework where we look at vulnerable areas and actually intervene there in the first place. That's the kind of solution that we require. And very quickly on the traffic, I fully endorse everything that Mohan said. You know, we have a city where we can walk. The weather is the one that we can walk. Bangalore has no solution without large-scale adoption of public transport system. We are way over our carrying capacity. And with urban sprawl that we have in place as opposed to densification which we should have had, the only way we can come back is by embracing public transport in a very big way, metro, buses, all modes, including walking, which is a mode. The 5-kilometer city where 90% of our work needs to be within a particular area. It will call for social rental housing and other stuff. But that's the way to think about doing this. As far as flooding is concerned, I'm still hopeful that that could be an issue that could bring the city together, everybody across political parties. Because seriously, climate change, many people don't understand. I mean, he's saying no, but the climate change, many people don't understand. They yawn, etc. But flooding, trust me, is a serious existential threat for Bangalore going forward, because we don't have the drain network that is required, and the lakes also are in very bad shape.
You know, Zaka, when the flooding happened, they found the Raja Kalways, the drains are blocked. Who gave approval to block that? They built it. Who inspected and gave them the occupancy certificate? The same bureaucrats. And then they went to break it. After, just digging something, they stopped. Who told them to stop? They got some order from somebody to stop. And still now they're not rectified that. Am I right, Ravi?
Yeah.
They're still not rectified that. I mean, please understand. This is because there is deep sense of corruption in the entire system. All of them involved in building transportation is on the take. I complained to the government that when I was building a house somewhere far away in the university campus, they asked me for a 10 lakh bribe for getting a plan sanction. I was outraged. I'm one of the highest taxpayers in the city. I was outraged. I went to everybody and told them, why are you asking me for a bribe? You know what they're saying? I have paid this much of money to come to this place. I have to recover in 6 months. If you don't pay me a bribe, how will I recover? That officer is telling us. What are we supposed to do, Zaka? Everybody says we'll stop it. Nobody stops it. No, we don't. Am I right, Ravi?
So, corruption is a very, very big malice. I mean, there is no denying that percentages are floating around. I think the one place we could do with a consensus across political parties is to ring-fence some areas. Actually, if you ring-fence and do a city like Bangalore properly, the productivity gains, the turnover gains, and the associated taxes will more than pay. So think in terms of making the pond into a lake or a river, as opposed to fishing and making the pond toxic, which is the current model.
Okay, I want to make a point. Citizens of Bangalore whom I've spoken to are okay with politicians making money in big deals. They're not okay with bureaucrats taking bribes. They're not okay with citizens getting harassed. You go to government, they treat you like shit. You have to stand outside, they abuse you, they don't do your work. You want a birth certificate? We have a corporation where you upload the plans. You can't upload because the system has been rigged. And then on Saturday they call you and say, you come and meet us, you can upload. Because they constricted the power. And then we find out, what? I don't know if it's true, but somebody told me that there's a small IT company in Pune which is running the software far away, and somebody gives orders here. The system is rigged, man. And nobody bothers. Vidhan Sabha doesn't bother. Our politician leaders, see, we need business process. We need these small things. We have to fix this to improve the ease of life for citizens. Bangalore can prosper, India can prosper.
Okay. I'll get a final word from both of you. I mean, obviously, you've made everything in the city. The city has given both of you everything that you have today. But would you recommend living in Bengaluru to your children?
Of course. There's no doubt. It's like Mamata Banerjee.
Despite all the traffic and the garbage.
No doubt. Oh, yeah. The most wonderful people in the country are in Bangalore.
Okay.
Fantastic people. Most wonderful people. You can join the gang, but
much of energy,
you have to give you a visa.
Diversity. I mean, I think it's unmatched.
This is the only city where people come together to work for public causes. He has spent 25 years working for public causes. He'll spend the rest of his life working for public causes. Like Mamata Banerjee says, I am prepared to lay down my life to protect the Constitution. The people of Bangalore are prepared to spend a large part of the time to defend Bangalore and to grow Bangalore. It's a wonderful city. We love this city. It's the best place in India to live. You think Delhi is a great place? Man, you live 9 years less because of pollution. Bombay is a nice place, but you spend 5 hours in kilometers. Yeah, Samir. Samir is come here. No, he runs, he's a unicorn founder from PhonePe. And you ask him, you ask Chandra. They all love this place. Come along.
Okay.
And we are perpetual optimists. We are plugging away.
As they say, you can take a Bangalorean out of Bangalore. You can never take Bangalore out of a Bangalorean. So two fantastic Bangaloreans. Thank you very much, Mr. Mohandas Pai, Mr. Ravichandra. Thank you so much. Can we have a round of applause for Mr. Pai and Mr. Ravichandra? Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for that very engaging conversation. And here's hoping that the city of Bengaluru will be able to plug the gaps. And hopefully in the next few months and years, we on the news channel wouldn't be talking about the pothole problem in the city of Bengaluru. Well, in just few seconds from now, we'll begin our very special next session. And this one is about India's digital payment ecosystem. What more can we do?